Morning from West Hampton Beach.
Wow, very nice. Good for you. Extending the Labor Day holiday, I see.
Just a couple of hours on the way back shortly.
Awesome. Awesome. Good for you. Well, thanks for taking a couple moments to chat with us. We're going to talk about silver today and about a couple of different things as they pertain to silver. How about silver flatware? People don't realize that they can bring flatware into National Estate Jewelers, and there's a lot of value in flatware. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Well, if it's not sterling silver, then the chances are that the silver value alone is anywhere from about $500 to a couple of $1,000 or more, and that depends just on the weight or upon the resaleability of the flatware. Because silver has a lot of value. It was made by George Jensen or Tiffany,
Uh huh.
and it starts at $1,000 and goes up to three or four or five or even more $1,000.
Wow. Now, is this just for a couple of pieces from a set, Barry, or is it better to
Um,
have as much of of a full set as you can?
well, really, the more you have, the more you have. I mean,
Okay.
a small, it's still based upon its silver value, but if you have a rare George Jensen or Tiffany flatware service or even Cartier,
Hmm.
um, that is very hard to find and in demand. It'll bring even more money depending on the completeness of the set. If you
Interesting.
have a service for 12 and it's all complete with serving pieces and you can't find it anywhere, then it's going to be in demand.
That's true. Okay. Talk about there's a way you can detect silver has a very particular odor. You can tell if something is silver by smelling it. How does that work?
So it's something you get used to over time. The antique silver has some alloy in it. I was unable to find out exactly what it was, but if you rub your fingers on it, and not so much with the new silver, but the antique silver, if you rub your hands on it, and you smell funny thing, smell your fingers or the silver itself, it's gonna have a strange metally odor, and it's something you know over time. But the most important thing you can do when looking at silver is that you really need to trust the people you're buying it from and always get a receipt. If you're not sure and you're looking through an estate, you've inherited something from your parents or your grandparents or a relative,
Hmm.
you need to look with a magnifying glass to see if it's marked sterling or 925. Or you can even go online and research hallmarks, and you just put in silver hallmarks, and you'll get a small education. And just beware that a little knowledge can certainly take you in the wrong direction, but you always go to an expert like us,
Sure.
and we will help you because you become our client, not a customer. You become our client at National Estate, and a client is always under our protection. So we have to do something that's right. That's the difference between a customer you see once and a client you hope to see many times.
Yeah. Are there different types of silver, Barry, or is silver silver and that's it?
Well, there's 800 silver, which is 80% pure silver, and sterling silver, which is 925 parts. And when I say this, it's a percentage of silver versus alloy. So 925 silver or sterling silver could also be marked S925. That has more value than 800. 800 silver is also considered coin silver because many coins were made from 800 silver, although our coins in this country were at 90% silver. So, and then there's, of course, silver plate, which has an electroplating of silver on it, making it having very little value.
Okay. So are coins were they silver plated or were they the sterling silver? Some of the coins that were minted.
Well, our coins in this country mostly 90% silver. So they're
Okay.
not sterling, but they are silver through and through. In 1964, the U.S. government produced JFK half dollars that were 40% silver from 1964 to 1970. And you got to be really careful when sorting your silver coins. You don't just bring those 65 to 1970 coins to the bank because they're worth $1 to $2 each.
Wow. All right. Well, that's something we'll have to keep in mind. Barry Blank is our guest this morning from National Estate Jewelers. And we're talking about silver today and the value of having things either silver, silver plate, sterling silver, and what's it worth to you and what's it worth to Barry at National Estate Jewelers. And you could always stop by and see him on Route 18 North in East Brunswick. Stop by, talk to him, talk to one of the great professionals that worked with him, and kind of get an education in these beautiful collectibles that you have. Are there more? What are some valuable silver items, Barry? Antiques, perhaps of silver, or maybe more the flatware or the more valuable things? What are some valuable silver items?
But what you need to really look for, and if you want a treat, go to England, go to the Victoria and Albert Museum, and you will see some of the most beautiful silver in the world. And when you're talking about modern silver, you're talking about things that sell for uh, $20, $30 an ounce, which is double the silver price. But when you're talking about true antique silver, you're talking about hundreds or thousands of dollars an ounce, which are very rare and hard to find. We look for, in this country, we look for things stamped by manufacturers. In Mexico, there's a manufacturer called Antonio who did beautiful, beautiful work. There is George Jensen from Denmark. Of course, we have Tiffany and Cartier, and even Buccellati. I shouldn't say even. Buccellati brings a big premium in this country, and that's an Italian manufacturer. Some people may be aware of it. And there are many, many designer names, which are too many to note here.
Mm.
But we look and we carefully separate everything that a client brings in.
Okay, and the Franklin Mint. Someone, these collections of these Franklin Mint coins are these Franklin Mint silver bars. They come in this really fancy wood box, and you see the Franklin Mint has issued these things over periods of time. These silver bars, which look just beautiful, and they look like they're priceless. Are they really worth that much money?
Well, they are hinged directly to the silver price. The Franklin Mint really produced, what they did, and they still do, is they sent you would get the first one for free years ago, and then they would also send you the box. So you wouldn't stop collecting till you bought the whole 50, if it was 50 spades or 100 or 200 coins. These, you wouldn't stop collecting. So you were in fact, I would call it almost addiction. I have to finish this collection. I
Sure.
have to come. So at any rate, these coins are hinged directly to the silver price. Some are pure silver, 999 over 1,000, which is 999 parts out of 1,000, and some are 925 over 1,000. But they also produced bronze coins, which have very little value. So Franklin Mint also produced collections of beautiful, beautiful trains out of sterling silver,
Hmm.
actual trains. Yeah, they couldn't run, but they were models or cars. They also produced pewter,
Wow.
which have some value, but not a lot.
I saw recently an ad for this gold coin that had the state of New Jersey emblazoned on it, and it's like you can have this for free. And I'm like, this is great. I'd love to have one of these. But then I had to buy every state after that for like 50 bucks a piece or something. So you mentioned
Right.
about the addiction. They'll give you the first one for free, right?
That's correct, very often.
Right.
And then that gold emblazoned on it is probably a 22 karat or 24 karat electroplate over
Hmm.
sterling. Be
Okay.
really careful when you read these ads.
I will. I definitely will. And are there any coins that are worth more than the value of the silver that they're made with, Barry?
Oh, there are many, many coins that are worth much more than the silver value they're made of. There are extremely rare commemorative U.S. coins. We recently bought a collection, and some of these coins were $half that were worth $1,000 to $2,000 each. There are very early American coins that from the 1700s and 1800s. But we also see a lot of fake ones also, which are just, what do they say? Replication you're trying to copy people because it's supposed to be a compliment, but it's
Yeah.
actually illegal to make to copy American coin.
In that case, it's not the sincerest form of flattery, right?
Right, that's what I was looking
Right.
for. You got it. But yes, there are many, many coins. We check every coin. When we see collections, we look for a Washington quarter, which would be a 1932 DRS, or a Mercury dime, a 1916 DRS. And DRS meaning made in Denver or San Francisco,
Mm,
as opposed to Philadelphia.
okay.
But it's not just the mint mark. It's also how many were made in that year.
Excellent. Well, a lot of good information on the show today, Barry. I look forward to our conversation next week. But you enjoy the rest of your long holiday weekend, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday, all right?
Sure. Have a great week.
You too. Thank you. All right, Barry Blank, my guest on